Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Just when fans thought the New York Yankees were finally starting to stabilize, a shockwave hit the fan base. Right as we're heading into the final stretch of the MLB trade deadline, what started off as another typical week in the Bronx turned into one of the most unexpected, potentially franchise-altering moments of the season. And yeah, it all circles back to Brian Cashman and the decisions being made behind the scenes. We're not just talking about a couple bullpen tweaks or a quiet depth addition. We're talking about names that matter, fan favorites, core pieces, guys who have been performing, and performing well, suddenly being floated around in trade talks. Let's be real, that's not something Yankee fans are used to hearing, especially this late into the deadline season, but that's exactly what happened. Sources started leaking reports that multiple high-performing players, including the likes of Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt, were part of internal conversations about potential trades. At first, it sounded like typical front office rumor mill chatter, but then the smoke started turning into fire. Conversations were real, offers were being considered, and the reason behind it all? A medical scare surrounding none other than Aaron Judge. Yes, the heart and soul of the Yankees lineup, the captain, the franchise centerpiece, was at one point feared to be heading toward Tommy John surgery that sent shockwaves through the organization. Because let's be honest, without Judge, this lineup changes drastically. His presence at the plate, his leadership, his defensive impact, his ability to shift momentum with one swing, all of that vanishes. So, what did the front office do in response? They prepared for a worst-case scenario. And part of that preparation involved the possibility of flipping key assets. While their value was high, Cody Bellinger, for starters, has been playing like the guy who won MVP with the Dodgers a few years back. This isn't just a decent comeback story anymore, it's a full-blown resurgence. Over 370 at-bats, he's collected over 100 hits, is batting close to Dois Pontos Oidoum, and already has days in OV home runs. He's swiping bases, playing elite defense all over the outfield, center, left, right, doesn't matter, and his ops is sitting at a very healthy 8.40. You look at the advanced metrics, ops plus of Seno e 30, slugging over .5, and it paints the picture of a guy who is not just good, but legitimately great again, and this isn't even taking into account his cold start to the year. Imagine if Bellinger had been hot out the gate. These numbers might be MVP caliber again. The timing of his production, especially when paired with the absence of Juan Soto and the protective presence of Aaron Judge in the order, has made Bellinger a massive contributor. It felt like he was finally in the right place, with the right team, at the right moment, which makes the idea of trading him even more mind-blowing. Why would the Yankees, in the middle of a playoff push, even consider letting him go? But then we add Paul Goldschmidt into the mix. Now, Goldy hasn't been putting up earth-shattering numbers, but let's not pretend he hasn't been solid. He started the season hot, cooled off a bit, but he's still batting over Dois Ponto Oidochers. With Oido home runs and a very respectable ops of Setechentos e Cessna, he's been a steady, reliable presence at first base, solid glove, good contact, professional at-bats. He's the kind of guy you want in a postseason locker room. And for a team that's been dealing with injuries, inconsistency, and a rotating cast at first base since Anthony Rizzo's decline, Goldschmidt has been that much-needed bridge, a guy to stabilize things while younger talent develops. So again, the big question comes up: why float these guys in trade talks at all? The answer is as brutal as it is simple: panic. The Yankees were bracing for the possibility that Aaron Judge wouldn't play again this season. If he required surgery, the season as we knew it would have essentially been over, and in that kind of situation, you don't ride it out, you hit the reset button, fast. Not a full rebuild, more like a quick, aggressive retool. Sell high, get assets back, clear cap space, and aim to strike hard next year. Think back to 2016 when they traded Aroldis Chapman to the Cubs and then re-signed him after he helped them win the World Series. That's the kind of calculated gamble Cashman was potentially considering again. There were whispers that Devin Williams, another player mentioned in these talks, was being evaluated as well. Williams started the season looking nothing like his usual self, with a sky-high era and command issues that had a lot of people concerned. But since then, he's completely turned it around. In his last 20 appearances, he's posted an era of Dois Pontos, racked up 20 e-seat strikeouts, and converted on saves. He's pitched in different roles, not just as a closer, showing versatility and resilience. He's looking more and more like the Devin Williams we've come to expect, the guy with the devastating changeup, high strikeout rate, and shutdown potential in high-leverage spots. The irony. If the Yankees had decided to sell, now would've been the best time to deal him. His value had just bounced back up after a rough first half, making him a much more attractive asset. That's the type of window GMs like Cashman are always watching. The art of knowing when to buy low and sell high, and when to hang on, but ultimately, everything hinged on one medical update, and luckily, for everyone in the Bronx, the news came back better than expected. Aaron Judge would not require Tommy John surgery. That shifted the entire calculus instead of going into sell mode. The Yankees now had a green light to stay aggressive, keep the core intact, and maybe even go out and add. The tone inside the organization shifted from damage control to playoff push, from caution to opportunity. Still, the fact that these conversations even happen tells us something deeper about how the front office views this team. There is a sense of urgency, but also of uncertainty, confidence, yes, but also a lot of realism. This is not a front office blindly chasing a title. This is a group that's ready to pivot if they have to, ready to make hard decisions, even unpopular ones, and honestly, that should scare and comfort fans at the same time. It shows they're not stuck in a single mindset, but also reminds us just how close we were to a completely different direction now. Even though the immediate threat of losing Judge is gone, the deadline is still ticking. Cashman is on the clock, and he has decisions to make. Will they go all in? Maybe not. But they're definitely not folding either. You can expect moves, smart, calculated ones. The Yankees might not gut the farm system. They're probably not touching top names like George Lombard Jr. or Spencer Jones unless it's a deal too good to be true, but tweaks will happen. Relief pitching is still a concern. Right now, the bullpen ranks decimo primero in all of Major League Baseball. Not terrible, but far from elite. In a loaded American League with teams like the Astros, Mariners, and Guardians breathing down your neck, you can't afford mediocrity out of the pen. And that brings us back to the big picture. This season is still alive. The window is open. Maybe not wide, but enough to make a run. There's a real shot to do something meaningful. And it's all going to come down to what happens in these next few hours. The Yankees are not in a position to burn it down. They're also not in a place where they can stand still, so now we wait. But one thing's for sure, if you thought this deadline was going to be quiet, think again. In the Bronx, nothing is ever that simple. So, picking up where we left off, the reality is that the Yankees front office has been navigating a high-wire act. On one side, you have the undeniable excitement of a team that still believes it can make a serious playoff run this season. On the other, there's a sobering awareness of just how fragile things can get when your cornerstone player is potentially out for the year. Aaron Judge, after all, is not just another star. He's the face of the franchise, the ultimate game changer who can flip a game with a single swing or a key defensive play. The Yankees' entire blueprint often revolves around his presence in the lineup and the way pitchers approach the order when he's there. That looming injury scare forced Cashman and his team to at least entertain the idea of recalibrating the roster in case the worst-case scenario became reality, and this is where the discussions about Bellinger and Goldschmidt come into sharp focus. To anyone watching casually, it might seem baffling that a team would even consider trading a guy like Bellinger, who's essentially been the second most impactful bat in the lineup this year. His numbers scream all-star, and his impact goes beyond the stat sheet. You can see the confidence in his approach, the way he covers ground in the outfield, and the occasional hustle plays that energize a team. Then there's Goldschmidt, who might not draw the same headlines but brings veteran savvy, leadership, and consistent production to a position that hasn't been rock solid for the Yankees in recent years. Trading either of these guys would have sent a strong message, a clear indication that the Yankees were prioritizing the future over the present, betting on a quick rebuild rather than riding out the season. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In a turn of events that has the baseball world buzzing, whispers around the league suggest that Witt Jr., one of MLB's brightest young talents, could be making a move to the Bronx. The Kansas City Royals electric shortstop, known for his explosive speed, sharp defensive instincts, and emerging power at the plate, is being linked, albeit unofficially, with none other than the New York Yankees. While there's no official confirmation from either camp, insiders and executives have started to entertain the idea, could Witt Jr. be the next superstar to don the pinstripes? At just 24 years old, Witt Jr. has already built an impressive resume in Kansas City. His trajectory has been nothing short of incredible from the moment he debuted. Scouts and fans alike recognize he had something special, a rare combination of athleticism, baseball IQ, and charisma. He's become a cornerstone player for the Royals. But with the team still deep in a rebuild and Witt Jr. approaching arbitration, speculation has intensified about whether the Royals would be willing to listen to offers, and if they do, the Yankees might be first in line. Sources close to league negotiations have hinted that Yankees GM Brian Cashman is monitoring the situation very closely. It's no secret that the Yankees are always on the hunt for generational talent, and Witt Jr. checks all the boxes. He brings elite defense to a premium position, adds a dynamic presence on the base paths, and has the kind of offensive upside that could light up Yankee Stadium for years. And with the AL East more competitive than ever, adding Witt Jr. could give the Yankees the edge they need to reclaim division dominance. Of course, it's all still chatter at this stage. The Royals have made no indication they're actively shopping Witt Jr., but front offices around the league are watching closely. In a league increasingly defined by blockbuster trades and power moves, no possibility can be ruled out. The Yankees, emboldened by their financial muscle and win-now mentality, might see this as the perfect moment to strike, especially with their recent infield instability and a clear desire to pair Aaron Judge with a new generation of stars. Witt Jr.'s presence in the AL East would cause immediate ripples. Imagine the matchups: Witt Jr. going head-to-head with Bo Bichette in Toronto, or testing the arms of the Red Sox outfield with his blistering speed. His arrival in New York would be more than just a positional upgrade, it would be a message to the rest of the division. The Yankees aren't just looking to compete, they're aiming to dominate. Clubhouse chatter has already picked up, with some Yankees players reportedly excited by the possibility. "He's a baller, man," one unnamed veteran was overheard saying during a recent homestand. "He's the kind of guy who changes games, changes seasons. You add someone like that to this mix, it's over." Still, for all the excitement, this remains speculative. The Royals have been known to value their homegrown talent deeply, and Witt Jr. represents more than just stats. He's a symbol of hope for a fanbase hungry for relevance. Trading him would signal a major shift in Kansas City's vision. But with contract extensions looming and team performance stagnating, difficult decisions may lie ahead. The Yankees, meanwhile, are in a different phase of their competitive window. After several postseason shortcomings, pressure from the fanbase and ownership is mounting. The acquisition of a star like Witt Jr. could inject new life into the roster and create a new narrative heading into October. For a franchise built on legends and legacy, adding another potential superstar shortstop might be tempting to pass up. It's also worth noting the unique stage Witt Jr. is at in his career. He's young, but not untested. He's shown resilience, adaptability, and poise beyond his years. For a player that many believe could be a perennial MVP candidate, the stage of New York might just be the perfect platform to unlock his full potential. And for the Yankees, long criticized for a lack of true homegrown infield stars since Derek Jeter's retirement, Witt Jr. could be the heir they've been waiting for, even if he wasn't raised in their system. As always in the world of baseball, things can shift quickly. One phone call, one prospect package, one contract extension or lack thereof can set everything in motion. But for now, this remains in the realm of rumors, albeit loud ones. Yankee fans should stay tuned, and Royals fans may want to brace themselves. If the buzz proves true, the AL East is about to feel a whole new level of heat. Until then, the name Bobby Witt Jr. will continue to swirl in trade speculation circles. Whether it's smoke without fire or the early stages of something seismic, one thing is certain: baseball's rumor mill is alive and well, and it's got its eyes on the Bronx. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.